Cardi, what's up, man? Thanks for following me over here to YouTube. Hope all is well. What'd you think of SmackDown tonight? Start the review once we get some people in here, but what'd you think of it? By the way, hit that thumbs up, guys. Hit that like button. Everyone counts. Appreciate you. And hopefully you're all subscribing already. Thank you for joining me tonight. Trying to get the TikTok crew to move over here and get used to me on YouTube, so. Yep. What's up, Cardi? Yeah, I remember you, man. What's up? Cool, cool. Be sure to hit that like button, all right? Appreciate you. We'll start the review in a few minutes once we get some people in here. Appreciate that. What was your favorite part of SmackDown? It was nice that they brought Rey Mysterio into San Diego tonight, his hometown. That was kind of cool. Declaring for the Royal Rumble tonight. I think he's what, the 6th or 7th person to do so for the men's Rumbles, so it's pretty good. How's everybody doing tonight? We'll start this this Friday night SmackDown review in a few minutes once we get some people in here. Trying to move these lives over from TikTok to YouTube is definitely going to be an adjustment, but we'll get it done over the next couple of weeks and months. So, yeah, it was a good show, man. I still would have loved it just to be 2 hours. That third hour, man, you really feel it on a Friday, but it was good. Overall, it's a good show. Yeah, it was great to see Rey Mysterio, man. His daughter was in attendance and put on a great match with Kevin Owens, honestly. It was a lot of fun. So we'll talk about all of that in a little bit. Appreciate you being here, though. For the few that are in here already, hopefully you guys are subscribed. I appreciate it if you hit the like button. And we'll talk a little SmackDown once we get a few people in here. Gonna wait for some of the TikTok crew to come over here. Hopefully they remember. I was reminding everybody the other night that I'm on YouTube now, so it's gonna be a transitional period, but it's all right. It's to be expected. So, down to business in a little bit. Who do you think's going to win the Rumble, though, for the men and the women? I'll tell you what, that Charlotte Flair video package we got right before the main event with Tiffany Stratton. You know, Tiffany Stratton and Bayley had a great main event match. I actually really enjoyed it tonight. I don't know, man. The more I was thinking the last couple weeks, maybe Charlotte Flair or Io win this Royal Rumble. I'm really thinking it's going to be Charlotte, so I'm excited for it. Anna, how we doing tonight? Again, guys, thanks to those that's joining me. I'm going to be going live Mondays and Fridays after Raw and SmackDown now. I've been going live the past year on TikTok. We all know what's going on with that. So I'm moving on over to this platform where I usually post, long form, short form content. But I only started going live on YouTube earlier this week. So again, it's going to be a transitional process. My name's Pat, by the way. And if everybody that's in here, 6, 7, 8 people, everybody hit that like button. I'd greatly appreciate it. And more importantly, other than hitting the like button and you being here with me tonight, if you could please hit the subscribe button, turn on notifications, and this way you'll know when I'm posting or when I'm on live, again, Mondays and Fridays, immediately after the show. I'll be coming on just after the show, so doing good there, Anna. What did you guys think of SmackDown tonight? I know Cardi was saying a few things about SmackDown as soon as he got in here, but what were your thoughts? What was your favorite part? And again, we'll get a couple more people in here, and we're going to get started. Start from the very top. We're going to do a very thorough review over this next hour of SmackDown. Love to know what you think in the comments, and I'm definitely going to give you my 2 cents on everything. But again, as I was saying just a minute ago, Charlotte Flair video package, man. I don't know. Looks like she's coming back like $1 million, and dare I say she might be the first 2-time Women's Royal Rumble winner. So she won in 2020. And I think this may be her time now. If you remember, much like Drew McIntyre in 2020, they had to have their championship bouts in the Thunderdome, essentially, right? COVID and stuff. So that was where Charlotte defeated Rhea for that NXT championship. So maybe this is where Charlotte gets her opportunity in Vegas. And I don't know, man. If it's Charlotte and Tiffany Stratton, I have a funny feeling that they may have Tiffany drop to her to have her become a 15-time champ. because she's been so injury plagued the last couple of years, Charlotte. So we'll see. Wouldn't that be funny if a Cena and Flair both win world titles at WrestleMania this year? Right? John maybe surpassing her father at 17, and Charlotte maybe making her way to 15. So we'll see. Hey, what's up, Leah? Appreciate you. Appreciate you being here. Yeah, this is going to be an interesting transition from TikTok to YouTube, but I'll be supporting you as well. So I do appreciate that. How many times did I go to a WWE event? I've been a fan since the late 80s. Although I probably went to more WWE events in the last 12 years than ever. But I don't know, man. I probably well over 30. You know, my later years, I started going to a lot of WWE events. I watched a lot as a kid, but I really didn't go to many shows as a kid. I might have went to Raw a couple of times, right? That was about it. But what was your favorite guy's favorite part of SmackDown? And then we're going to get to the review in just a minute. But what'd you enjoy the most? Thought it was a good show. Although I love my 2-hour shows, man. That's a sweet spot. 3 hours is tough. 3 hours on a Monday is a lot easier than 3 hours on a Friday. I'm going to tell you why. You got a fresh week, right? Even though you got a long week ahead probably with work and all that stuff. At least, you got Monday Night Raw to look forward to on your Monday. But when you got a 3-hour SmackDown, I don't care how good the show is, kind of drags on. And we're 3 weeks in or so to a 3-hour SmackDown, and I can't say I'm the biggest fan of it. And I thought tonight was a pretty good show, but at the same time, it's a lot, man. It's a lot to digest. It is different. I was searching for the share button. Appreciate that. Yeah, Jacob Patu. That was definitely something. What are your thoughts with Solo taking his jacket off, walking out of the Timekeeper's area into the crowd? It's going to be a very interesting dynamic now. You can tell Jacob's in the mood where he's no longer about to say, I love you, Solo, or nothing like that. It seems like he's ready to fly solo, with the exception of Tama Tonga by his side, which they're definitely a force. And that match they just announced, Jacob Fatu versus, who was it, Braun Strowman, Saturday night's main event. That's going to be a lot of fun, too. So, all right, guys, so we're going to start the review now. And whoever comes in, so be it. Again, I appreciate anybody subscribing, hitting that like button, of course. And again, feel free to chime in throughout the course of this review. I'll stop, look up at the comments when I can. And we got a lot to talk about. So I'll be here till at least midnight, and we'll get going. So they mentioned during the show, this was the first time SmackDown was in San Diego since, 2013. Raw was there at the beginning of the year last year. And we come to find out, which, by the way, I got to give Kevin Owens credit. I don't want to jump the gun here and before we get to that segment, but the T-shirt, Kevin Owens' troll game via T-shirt is top-notch. He came out wearing a T-shirt that said the Canadian Dream, said the American Dream, son of a security system technician. I thought that was fantastic. That was great. We also saw Rey Mysterio in his hometown of San Diego, and I believe he's the 6th entrant into the Men's Royal Rumble this year. So that's a very star-studded lineup. A lot of current guys, a lot of household names through the years, obviously Cena and Rey. So I'm excited for it. I kind of feel Solo is just going to abandon the new bloodline. Yeah, that shirt was great, right? Yeah, he's definitely going to abandon the new bloodline. So what do you think? I mean, obviously he left them high and dry, Leah. Do you think this sparks into a feud immediately? Do you think he comes, on Raw and starts begging for forgiveness, basically, or acknowledges Roman and just simply joins them that quickly? I mean, what do you think? Going into this, I think a lot of people, including myself, thought, Solo was going to go into the ring tonight, which he did, and that maybe Jacob was going to attack him or Tama or something, but, for losing at War Games and for losing to Roman at Tribal Combat. But I don't know. I don't know what this means, but I'm very curious. I'm very, very curious. So, again, SmackDown tonight, San Diego, California. They opened up the show. Wade Barrett, Joe Tessitore on commentary. They've been a pretty good team. I've liked them on Raw the last couple of months. I think they've done a great job on SmackDown as well. And, again, they opened up the show with San Diego's own Rey Mysterio, announced by Lillian Garcia. It's like, wow. Got Lillian Garcia, the new ring announcer on SmackDown, announcing Rey Mysterio in 2025. It made me think for a second, what year is it? But that was pretty cool. We got a loud 619 chant as he got to the ring. Then he went and said home of the 619, obviously the area code, San Diego. He said his daughter's in attendance, plenty of family and friends. And then he officially declared for the 2025 Royal Rumble. So you got John Cena, CM Punk, Roman Reigns, Drew McIntyre, Seth Rollins, and now you got Rey Mysterio. This is an amazing field. I think a lot of people right now, from especially who has just announced, all the heavy hitters, most would either lean towards John Cena or CM Punk getting it done. Obviously, a lot of people want Roman or Seth, but I think, realistically, I personally think it comes down to Cena and Punk. That's just my 2 cents. But this was cool. And then he went on to tell his story about when he won the Royal Rumble. Miss J, what's up? Appreciate you. How we doing? How we doing? Calvin, what's up? Batman, good stuff, guys. Appreciate you. If you could take a second and hit that like button, means a lot. If you're subscribed already, great. If you haven't, please do so. And continue to keep the conversation going. We're just getting started with the SmackDown review. From those making their way over to TikTok today, thank you. This is where I'm going to be Mondays and Friday nights, immediately following the show, for Raw, for SmackDown. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And by the way, guys, for those that are still in here, I'm going to be doing, I might pop on there tonight for a few minutes after this, but I'm doing my final live on TikTok tomorrow night. A little last hurrah type of deal. So 10 p.m. Eastern time. So maybe midnight, we'll see. Maybe midnight, but tomorrow, 10 p.m. Eastern time to hopefully midnight, and hang with you guys on TikTok and chop it up at least one last time. So hopefully I'll see you all there. Tammy, how we doing? Jacob versus Braun, Saturday night's main event's going to be good. Now, Tammy, I know they've announced 3 matches, and then we have the Cody thing, which we'll get to. They haven't announced the women's match yet, right? For Saturday night's main event, they still got a week to go. So let's jump in here. So Ray talks about the 2006 Royal Rumble, where he won. He went in at number 2. He won that Rumble, main evented Mania, and says when he did it in 2006, he did it for a friend that we all know very well. He's going to say Eddie Guerrero. Of course, we had lost him just a year prior. And just as he was about to elaborate, which is crazy, I can't believe it was about 20 years ago since that happened, but as he was going to elaborate on that, Kevin Owens' music hit, KO comes out. Again, he wore a great shirt, the Canadian Dream, son of a security system technician. Phenomenal. He's got the best t-shirt troll game ever. Like, the way Drew McIntyre's troll game was set up in 2024, especially on social media, is the way and the trajectory Kevin Owens is headed in 2025. And he was even doing this last year when he was beginning to, lead into this whole heel role in the fall. So I like what we're seeing with Kevin Owens. So he comes out, says he respects Ray. He says, look, Ray, I've main evented WrestleMania 38 with Stone Cold. Matter of fact, the next year at WrestleMania 39, I main evented with my then best friend, Sami Zayn, and we won the Undisputed Tag Team Championship. So basically he goes on to say that, he stands, he stands here with his rightful championship, the Winged Eagle, which we know he took from Saturday night's main event in Long Island last month. And KO says he hopes Ray wins the Rumble so that he can have his dream match at Mania, so long as, Rey Mysterio picks Kevin Owens to be the champion of his choosing to go up against. Now, we all know Kevin Owens isn't the champion. It's Gunther on Raw. It's Cody on SmackDown. And Ray tells KO, he goes, look, not for nothing, man, but you're not the champ. Cody's the champion over here. And says, although if I win the Rumble and KO defeats Cody at Royal Rumble, then he would be more than happy to face him at WrestleMania. I thought that was great. I thought that was really good stuff. So Ray says KO is delusional and that he reminds him of his son Dominic. Now, that was the last straw as far as that went. Long story short, we would get a match later in the night between Rey Mysterio in his hometown of San Diego, California, and Kevin Owens. So I thought that opening segment was great. Again, in the back of my mind, ever since Raw on Monday, because, the LWO and Ray and them, they're usually on Monday Night Raw, I was like, oh, man, they were in San Jose, right? Bayley's hometown, which was the SmackDown girl, Bayley, even though she made an appearance. And then I was like, but on SmackDown, they have the guy from Raw. It's his hometown, Rey Mysterio. But I'm glad they inserted him on this show. And not just to show up and say hi in the beginning, but to actually have a match with one of the top heels in WWE right now, that being Kevin Owens. So I thought that was good. We'll get to the next segment in a minute with Naomi and Bianca, which is a very juicy scenario we got going on there. So let me get to some of the comments here. Yes, glad to see you in here, Miss J. Maybe Roxanne versus Bayley. I could see that. That's a good proposal there, Tammy. Well, hopefully your day gets better here, Calvin, with a good SmackDown review and a yeet. But again, I hope I see you guys tomorrow night on my TikTok Live. Going to do at least one last TikTok Live again, 10 p.m. Eastern time. We'll be on, so go check it out tomorrow night. So let's move on to, this was about 8:15 backstage. Naomi and Bianca prior to their matchup against Candice and Nia Jax. Now, Naomi lets Bianca know there is still no leads on what happened to Jade. Now, mind you, this happened roughly around November 22nd. It was definitely before Thanksgiving, right? So about a week or so when Jade was attacked. lying out on the top of the hood of that car perfectly, as if it was, when you chalk somebody out, you see a chalk outline on the ground. That's literally how Jade was on the top of this car. So apparently they have no leads. Again, I think, the first week or two, I think a lot of us thought it was Bianca, and we were singing a different tune going into December, basically. And I still think it's Naomi, who has a lot to do with the whole Jade situation. But any week now, any week. So Bianca also apologized to Naomi for striking her with her braid last week. So Naomi made sure that she tied that braid up into a bun, although it fell right out as soon as the bell rang. But that's besides the point. So yeah, I love Naomi. I love Naomi, but I don't trust Naomi at all. So their match would come up in just a couple of minutes. Yeah, Jacob is fantastic on the mic there, Tammy. I couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more. So before this matchup starts with the women's tag team champs versus Candice and Nia, backstage we see SmackDown GM Nick Aldis with Cody Rhodes. Cody says he's cleared. He's like, look, I could go in there. I got the paperwork to prove it, man. So just say the word. And Aldis wants Cody to sign the contract for the Royal Rumble for that ladder match. And Cody asks, well, did KO sign? He said, no, not yet. He says, well, let me know when he does. I'm not signing until he does. So that was the whole saga and storyline throughout the vast majority of this night. Now, we had this tag team matchup again, Candice and Nia versus the women's tag team champions, Bianca and Naomi. Fun match, good opening match, I guess, to start the show. Towards the later part of this match, Naomi nearly had Nia pinned, but LeRae broke it up. Double team effort to Bianca, but they couldn't keep her down either, Nia and Candice, that is. This crowd was, I don't know if this crowd was necessarily on fire, but they were alive. And maybe a lot of that has to do with the fact that Rey Mysterio opened the show. So kudos to Mr. 619, because damn near after every match, not to say it didn't deserve it, but damn near after every match, you would hear "This is awesome" chants, which I thought was great. Nia accidentally hit Candice LeRae with a leg drop. She was aiming, obviously, for the EST, Bianca Belair. Naomi gets the pin on Candice LeRae, and then we immediately get a graphic advertisement for the January 28th episode of NXT. So that's a couple days after Saturday night's main event in San Antonio, Texas. And so Naomi and Bianca will be then defending their tag team titles against Lash Legend and Jakara Jackson of NXT on NXT, of course. So that's going to be very interesting to see. A while back, I think when a lot of people were wondering who attacked Jade, could it be Lash Legend even? I know some said Nia, some said Lash, Bianca, Naomi. We've heard the whole thing. And a lot of people said, what if Naomi was behind this whole ordeal, or maybe started a faction with Lash Legend or even Jakara Jackson, which I think that'd be a pretty cool heel faction, Naomi leading that. So who's to say on NXT, things don't go sideways because Naomi wants them to, and that's where Lash and Jakara win the titles. That would definitely be something. And then maybe Naomi leaves with them, and then they have their own faction. So you may say, well, why would Naomi want to drop the titles? It's not that Naomi doesn't want to be a tag team champion, even though personally I love seeing her and Bianca on TV, but maybe this was Naomi's plan all along. Take them out from within. Took out Jade 2 months ago. Take out Bianca Belair now, my tag team partner, just to put these titles on Lash and Jakara. And I'm going to lead these two to victory, which literally she would. And I'm going to bring them now to the main roster with me, whether that be SmackDown, Raw, etc. So I think there could be something there. And I'm very curious. Again, I don't want Bianca and Naomi to break up anytime soon. I love this duo. They're having a ton of fun. It's not just kayfabe. And I like what we're seeing. So, Classic Random Clips, what's up? Oh, is that so? Well, thank you for the update there, Classic. Appreciate the news. Hopefully you're following. Are you subscribing, Classic? Hopefully you subscribe. Please hit me with a like here. Thank you for stopping in. Let's see. Maybe Jay will show up at Saturday Night's Main Event. Yeah, perhaps, Tammy. Perhaps. Or what if she shows up at that NXT show, too? That could be something. Jade actually might show up at the NXT. Yeah, okay, right. You even said that. Yep. Sends 50 TikTok. I love that, Miss J, with the asterisks. I love it. Again, guys, thank you for tuning in. Subscribe, like, and continue the conversation. It's a much smaller crew than we usually have on TikTok, but like any good thing that's worthwhile, it's going to take time to build up that following on here, just like it did on TikTok or any other platform. So I'm curious to see what happens. So we got that match again, January 28th, where Naomi and Bianca will defend against Jakara and Lash. Now, here we had a backstage segment, Byron Saxton talking to Bayley ahead of her main event match, going up against Tiffany Stratton. This will be Tiffany Stratton's first title defense. So, basically Bayley went over the great year that she had. I mean, Bayley and Tiffany Stratton, each of them had great years in their own right. Tiffany coming up, around the Rumble last year. Eventually, she got into the Elimination Chamber in Australia, won Money in the Bank, obviously, cashed in successfully. So, hey, man, she had a great year. And then Bayley, she was no slouch either. Bayley won the Rumble last year, went on to WrestleMania 40 in Philadelphia, defeated Io Sky for her title. Bayley's had a phenomenal year. She's a 7-time champion in her own right. So, basically said she was extremely driven ahead of this championship match, just reflecting, again, on the year that she's had, which has been phenomenal. So, good for her, man. Sean, can't wait for Charlotte Flair to come back. Yeah, they really made it look very interesting. That video package. At first, I didn't know who. I should have known it was Charlotte, especially putting it right before the main event, teasing that her and Tiffany going at it eventually, maybe at Mania. That's where I think. Whether she wins the Rumble, whether she wins Elimination Chamber, either or. So, for anybody just joining, thank you. This is the SmackDown review. Again, large part of my audience from TikTok. We're now moved over to YouTube. So, hit that subscribe button, guys. Hit that like button. Share the live, and just continue to keep the conversation going in the comments section. Can't wait. Carmelo and Jimmy had great chemistry. They really did, Sammy. There was a lot of good matches. Of course, they went longer than usual, a lot of these matches, because they had 3 hours to cover, but I really didn't mind it. The matches themselves. The show was a little lengthy for my liking, as any of the 3-hour shows are, but the matches were fun. Like, I didn't get bored, really, at any point in time. I hear you there, Calvin. So, next up, we have a backstage segment. We see Mishin with B-Fab, then approached by Piper Niven with the United States champion, Chelsea Green. Long story short, this leads to B-Fab and Piper having a confrontation face-to-face, which would then lead to a match later in the night. I'm a little upset this match didn't go longer, which we'll get to in a little bit. I did assume that Piper was going to win for sure, but it is what it is. So that feud is far from over between, honestly, all of them probably, right? Mishin aligning herself with B-Fab, obviously Chelsea's with Piper, so we'll get to that. Now, just what Tammy was talking about, we had Carmelo Hayes going one-on-one with Jimmy Uso. They had a altercation backstage last week. It was very brief, but this match was great. This match could have went either way. It was very good, and the match ended up being called, which we'll get to, but it was very entertaining. A lot of close near falls between Melo and Jimmy Uso. Again, this crowd was erupting. It seemed like every match. At some point in time, This Is Awesome chants broke out. Jimmy Uso, towards the end of this match, was going up top. It looked like he was going to put a ball on it, maybe sneak one past Carmelo and get the win. Jimmy Uso, however, didn't work out for him. Jacob Fatu showed up, appearing at the opposite turnbuckle diagonally, so that caught him off guard. At that moment in time, Tama Tonga came up. Tammy Tonga, right, Tammy? That's your man. Tama Tonga pushed Jimmy off of the top turnbuckle. Referee then calls the match. They then take Jimmy Uso out 2-on-1. Carmelo Hayes thought he was down with the new bloodline. He was so wrong. He was basically, patting Jacob on the shoulder, telling him how things are going. Jacob was not in the mood. Jacob then laid out Carmelo Hayes as well with a harsh clothesline. And then Solo Sikoa's music hit. We were waiting for this. What's going to happen with Solo ever since he lost at Tribal Combat against Roman Reigns 2 weeks ago? Showed up looking real good. Fresh haircut, red blazer. He was looking good. Solo emerges. They would then go to a commercial break. By then, it made his way to the ring. Solo got on the mic. He ends up dropping the mic, leaves the ring, takes off his jacket, and leaves through the timekeeper's area. As Jacob looks on in the distance, fans were singing goodbye. Then I'll get to this in a minute. Then Jacob would get on the mic and have a lot to say. Jacob's on a total warpath, and Tama Tonga's right there beside him. So I love this me against the world type of thing with Jacob and Tama. It's going to be really good. Get to some of the comments here. Let's see. It's nice to see B-Fab in the ring. Yeah, definitely, Tammy. She'll get her reps in. One thing I could say about B-Fab, and we'll elaborate on her in a little when we get to that match with her and Piper Niven, is, B-Fab, the good thing about her, she's incredibly confident. And her promo ability is getting better and better. She's been uploading a lot of stuff on social media the last couple of months, especially the last couple of weeks. Basically stating her claim. Yeah, I deserve to be here. Kind of like I earned it. I'm working hard. Whenever you see Natalya Neidhart's Tuesday, Wednesday training videos at her house, they got the wrestling ring. They train all kinds of superstars at WWE, NXT, AEW. They come from all walks of life, the indie circuit, and you see B-Fab there damn near every week working with them. So she's definitely putting in the reps, as well as Angelo Dawkins and so many others. So she's doing the work. Again, when her in-ring ability starts to finally get to where her on-mic ability is, she's going to be fantastic. And she's got a great presentation as well. So I'm excited for her. Sean, we soon shall see. Thank you, Calvin. It seems Carmelo has chemistry with anyone. His matches have been fire. Yeah, Tammy, there's not many Carmelo matches that I could point out in his 3+ year career in NXT and on SmackDown lately where it's like, oh man, that wasn't a good match. It's either that match is good or it's great. There's never a bad Carmelo match, really. Hey, Rachel, no problem. It's all good. Hey, look, do what you got to do. Thanks for stopping in. Again, guys, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. Please share the live. Again, it's always tough moving from one platform to another, either way. So thank you for, showing your support here on my second live ever on YouTube, right? Monday, some of you were with me, and now you're here with me again. Mondays and Fridays, we'll make this a thing. So let's see. Couple comments I'm going to get to. Tammy Tonga, hopefully Solo will be a babyface soon. Yeah, he may, Sean. We'll see if you haven't subscribed. Thank you, Miss J. Yes, what Miss J said, guys. Yeah, Rachel Reigns is in the building. So, look, guys, Jimmy Uso, Carmelo Hayes, who was great. Let's get to what Jacob Fatu had to say, though. He picked up the mic that Solo had dropped and said, I'm tired of the disrespect. I'm tired of the hate. He says, even on a bad day, y'all still can't touch me. I believe it. I would never get in the way of Jacob Fatu. He's a very dangerous individual, okay? He's been with the company now going on 7 months, and he's made an impact, to say the least. And what he pretty much said was all legit. Like, yeah, maybe kayfabe as far as character, but it was kind of a shoot in the sense where what he's saying is true. He's barely scratched the surface. When he said, the crazy thing about this situation is, I'm just getting started, like, you better believe Jacob Fatu. He's just getting started. I'm excited for him. You know, Tammy, as we've spoke about for months, she's more into the heels. I'm more of a babyface guy. I can appreciate a good heel, though, like a Jacob, like a Gunther, like you name it. And I'm excited for what Jacob has. Jacob is the type of guy where it's like, yeah, he's going to get his titles over time. Technically, he's already been a tag team champion over the summer when they beat, was it DIY? But, like, he'll get his singles titles, whether it's IC, US, maybe one day, a World Heavyweight Championship. But I'm more excited just storyline-wise, what's going to happen with Jacob, with Solo, with all these other people. So, and to have Tama Tonga by his side in the meantime is pretty cool. So, again, he says, I'm just getting started. LA Knight's music then hits. I was a little surprised to see him, especially with the numbers game, not in his advantage. She sneaks up behind them, takes out Jacob Fatu, Tama Tonga. That didn't last for very long. They then got him back. Braun Strowman's music hit. Now, he was hit with an illness a couple of weeks ago. He was supposed to be on the last couple of episodes of SmackDown. He was not. I remember on social media a week or two, he mentioned he lost like a lot of weight and stuff. He was bedridden for like 4 days. So it's good to see Strowman back. And you can kind of tell. I mean, he doesn't look sickly at all, but he definitely looks a little more toned. So who knows why that happened. It could have been because of that. But then we got a face-to-face with Jacob Fatu and Braun Strowman, which was awesome. Looked like they were going to go at it. Strowman ripped his shirt off. It was gonna get nasty, in the best way. But Tama Tonga would then sneak Jacob out of the ring, and that was that. We then would find out later in the show that Saturday night's main event next Saturday in San Antonio, Texas, we are going to have Jacob Fatu going one-on-one with Braun Strowman. So that's going to be something to see. So that will be fun. And so next up, we would have a tag team matchup with Motor City Machine Guns versus Los Garza. Or what were they? Used to be called Los Lotharios, Humberto and Angel. So we'll get to that in a second. Let's see. I personally think Jacob and Tonga should go together. Yeah, I mean, technically, Tammy, I know Tonga Loa is still out, right? And Tonga Loa, they've been tag champions multiple times, Japan and all that. But, I mean, they were the ones who initially won those titles, right? On August 2nd. Don't ask me how I remember the date. I think it was the night before SummerSlam in Cleveland. But anyway, when they beat DIY for those tag titles, Tama Tonga and Jacob Fatu, they were the ones. No pun intended with that we are the ones thing. So they won those tag team titles. And so, they eventually had Jacob relinquish it so he could focus on being the enforcer to Solo, like Solo was for Roman. But, man, I love that duo. They're definitely unstoppable for sure. What's up, Nas? How we doing, my friend? Again, guys, if you're in here, hit that like button. Hopefully you're subscribed, and I appreciate you guys commenting. Next week, LA versus Tama. Yes, that will be a great match on SmackDown for sure. They said Tongaloa will be back by WrestleMania. Okay. Well, look, I'm not waiting for him, Tammy. I mean, I hope Tongaloa is healthy, but look, like you said, I'd rather see Tama and Jacob just destroy things. Tongaloa comes back, and he's going to be, doing what Tongaloa does best. So, Braun versus Jacob next Saturday. Yeah, it's going to be good. Yeah, that's it. You said it, Miss J. I wasn't going to go there, but you said it. So, all due respect, Miss J got that one out of the way for me. All right, guys, about a half hour in here, and we are jumping into the tag team matchup again. I believe this match was the third or fourth match of the night, but we got another "This is Awesome" chant. between Motor City Machine Guns, Los Garza. Late in the match, it looked like Angel was going to pin Chris Sabin. Didn't happen. Pretty Deadly end up interfering and distract the referee, but even that couldn't stop the Motor City Machine Guns. Alex Shelley ends up pinning Umberto to get the win. Now, I thought Motor City was the #1 contenders for the tag titles with DIY. I think that match actually takes place next week as well, right? We got LA Knight, Tamatanga, and then I think a #1 contenders match between Pretty Deadly and Motor City, and then whoever wins that will go on to face DIY at a later date, I'm assuming. I think that's where we're headed, but we'll get to that little segment later in the show where DIY confronted Pretty Deadly, Elton Prince, and company, saying, you know, what happened out there. So I thought for sure once they were out there that Motor City was not going to win. So let's see here. I want to see the Tama that was in New Japan. I hear you, Tammy. I think eventually they'll allow him to be that version, I hope. Are you going to be live on TikTok after? Rachel, I just might. Honestly, tonight, we'll see how my energy is because I'm exuding a lot right now. I may hop on for a little bit, but definitely, I know, Rachel, you were not here for it when I said it. Tomorrow night, 10 p.m. Eastern Time, what could likely be the final TikTok live over there for Turnbuckle over there. So I'm going to go on TikTok live tomorrow night, definitely. Regardless if I go on after this or not, tomorrow night, Turnbuckle TikTok live, I will hop on around 10 p.m., and we'll see how it goes. We'll see. At least an hour, maybe two. We'll see. Motor City Machine Guns will eventually get the belts again. They have only lost one. Yeah, they'll definitely have. They'll get. We know they're going to have longer than a 42-day reign as well. Tammy, much like DIY's on their way to having a better reign than their first one. What was it, 29 days, I think, over the summertime? So we'll see. Yeah, that is cool that they reference TNA, especially now with the partnership. You know, it makes sense. Thank you, Rachel. Appreciate all you guys. Thank you for the likes, the subscriptions, keeping this chat busy, doing all you can. A large majority of my TikTok crew, most of you know each other, so thank you for making the transition over to YouTube here going forward. And, you know, we'll do it at least one more time. Maybe two more if I hop on tonight, but one more time tomorrow night at 10 p.m., all right? Appreciate you guys. So next up, we have Nick Aldis. Now, just like he went on to see Kevin Owens earlier in the night, Cody rather, he then would see Kevin Owens now to get him to try to sign that contract for the Royal Rumble for the ladder match. KO says, did Cody sign it? He says, no. And he says, well, now I'm not going to sign it until Cody goes and signs the contract. And that was pretty much that. So we'll get to Cody and KO later, a little bit later in the show. This would not be the last time we would hear from either of them. Now, Piper Niven with Chelsea Green, the U.S. champion, was going up against B-Fab. Not much to talk about here. It was over pretty quick. This is, I don't even know if I want to say a semi-squash. I think this was just an outright squash. Piper Niven defeated B-Fab. There was then a post-match attack by Piper and Chelsea, taking down B-Fab to the mat. Her ally, Mishin, would then come out, who we saw them earlier in the show backstage together. Mishin came out to the aid of B-Fab with a kendo stick, ends up taking out Piper, clearing the ring. And so that was pretty much that. And that would lead us to almost the 10 o'clock hour. In the final hour of the show, where Joe Tessitore would give a brief, paying respects to Bob Uecker, who passed away the other day, mentioning his involvement with WWE. Very synonymous voice, in sports, in film, you name it, in entertainment. And mentioned his involvement with WWE over the years, especially WrestleMania 3 and WrestleMania 4 even. So that was nice that they made mention of him, as I expected they would at some point during this show. Then we would see Byron with Tiffany Stratton ahead of her first title defense in the main event. And says, Tiffany went on to say, look, I'm the youngest women's Money in the Bank, and now the WWE champion. Going into my first title defense, I'm feeling good. We all knew Tiffany was going to win tonight. But it was a good match, though. I'm glad it wasn't an outright, which it shouldn't have been. It wasn't an outright domination by Tiffany. That wouldn't make sense. Bayley, again, she's a no slouch. She's a 7-time champion, right? So take that as you may. What's up, Wiccan? How we doing there tonight? How we doing there? Thanks for stopping in. Guys, appreciate you. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and thanks for keeping the chat going. Who's better tag champs, the Usos or the New Day? Asked Calvin. I was personally more a fan of the New Day, but I got a great amount of respect for the Usos, so that could go either way. Yeah, Sean, I hear you, man. I won't be able to stay awake if you go to TikTok tonight. No problem, Tammy. Hopefully you can join us on the last one, if that's the case, tomorrow at 10 p.m. But I know a lot of people are doing farewell TikToks tomorrow night, so if you guys are busy, no sweat, man. But I'll be on tomorrow night, 10 p.m. Eastern Time. Hopefully you can stop in on TikTok tomorrow night. What title do you think Jimmy Uso is going for? I don't think he's going for any title, Calvin, but Yeah, I think Jimmy puts on a quality singles match like he did with Carmelo tonight, but he's not going for any singles titles. Very interesting choice of ring gear tonight. I did like it. I was like, maybe this is the first time. Realistically, this is the first time in a while that Jimmy Uso hasn't had any new merch, right? Whether it was the Usos together for years, or even he had his own merch for a while in his singles run the past year. So he went on and wore some kind of a, I don't know. It looked like an and one get up from years ago. It looked nice though. The black and the red. It looked really cool. So, well, let's see here. Yeah, I'm glad Tiffany won, Rach. We'll get to that in a minute for sure. Tomorrow night, Tammy. I don't know. I might do a little bit of both. I might do a. I might start off with half the show where it's just just myself, and then maybe I'll dabble into the boxes for a little bit. I might do a little bit of both. So, okay, Miss J, no problem. I know you got early mornings. Let's see here. Sounds good, Calvin. Jimmy is underrated. He is. Yeah, I agree, Tammy. As I told many of you in the past rather, and some of you I think agreed. I was always a big Jimmy guy. A big Jimmy Uso guy when they were a tag team person. That sounded weird. Not little Jimmy, like R-Truth. A big Jimmy guy. Anyway, I was always a big Jimmy Uso fan, right? Big Jim, as they call him. But Jay's obviously been the popular one, especially the last 4 or 5 years. Timing's everything, right? In life, not just pro wrestling. And when Jimmy went out just after WrestleMania 36, Jey Uso was there lingering. And before you knew it, Roman returned in August, won the title, the beginning of his Universal title reign, gets into a feud with Jey Uso for a couple of months. Lo and behold, the right-hand man, going into 2021, he becomes main event Jey Uso. So Jay had a lot of singles opportunities before Jimmy returned, and during and after, especially, the past year and a half on Raw. So Jey Uso organically just got over with the crowd. He did, but I don't want to say all of it, but a lot of that was due to the absence of his brother. And that kind of left him the alleyway of opportunity, right? Just in a much different way. Not saying they're anywhere close as being over together, but just how Ivar was getting a lot of momentum in the last winter and spring until he got hurt in May when Eric was out from the War Raiders with the spinal fusion bit. Ivar was getting tons of singles opportunities. That's the thing I like about Triple H. He doesn't just see a tag team guy, one tag team guy go down and then the whole team's on the shelf for 5 months, 9 months. He's like, what can I do with this other guy? Whether it's the Street Profits, the New Day, obviously the War Raiders now, right? You name it, the Usos. So that's the cool thing. So I want to get too much of a tangent with that. But that being said, I love Jey Uso, but Jimmy is just as good, if not better, especially in singles. But can't deny Jay's greatness, though. I got to give him that. So let me get to some comments here. What is JBL doing on Raw this Monday? And we'll have to find out there. Oh, where is Roman Reigns? Sami Zayn, haven't been. Yeah, well, Roman's going to return on the, as Rachel has definitely documented that, Roman will be returning the January 27th episode of Raw, which we're supposedly supposed to see Goldberg then, for those that care. Appreciate that, Rachel. Thank you. Found out if you have the TNA app that you don't pay for Genesis. Wow, nice. Very nice, Tammy. That's good. Yes, NXT Genesis is on Sunday. They've been, ever since they made that partnership announcement early Thursday, they've been teasing NXT. So expect to see Cora Jade over there, right? Cora Jade with that proposed feud with Masha Slamovich, right? Just like we've seen a lot of back and forth with Bayley and Roxanne the last couple of days. Same with Cora Jade and Masha. I wonder what guys may be heading over there on Sunday as well. I'm so glad they're finally utilizing Pretty Deadly. I agree with you, Tam. Poor Jimmy been alone lately. I'm surprised Sammy and Jay not been there. I hear you, Rach, on that one. Yeah, the 27th, right? January 27th, yep. So if Goldberg is there, then Gunther will definitely be. Yeah, it's just a matter of where Goldberg and Gunther, where their match takes place. Their matchup is inevitable. Will that be Goldberg's final match? Hopefully. Just let's get it over with. But it's a matter of where Gunther and Goldberg. Drop it in the comments if you think. Not that I care to know, but I would like to know what you guys think, where we may see Gunther and Goldberg. And please don't say WrestleMania, because I sure as hell hope not. Gunther deserves much better than that. Even if Gunther is going to drop again at Mania this year, like he did last year to Sami Zayn, let it not be Bill Goldberg, please. I don't care to see Goldberg. He better not take so much time. Yeah, I hear you, Rachel. He better not be taking up anybody. I don't want Bill Goldberg taking up Akira Tozawa's time, all right? So never mind Roman. I don't need Bill Goldberg taking up any TV time from anyone at any point in time. I appreciated Goldberg in the late 90s. I even appreciated him when he returned in 2016, took out Brock a few times, won a title in the process. That was cool, but nah, 2025, no desire to see him on TV anymore. Tammy says, I think the Rascals still need to go after Fraxium for they never used it. Yeah, well, that's right. And, you know, I'm sure you saw Zachary Wentz tweet that out the other day, Tammy, on Thursday when they announced the partnership. As I mentioned on my podcast this morning, they definitely deserve that opportunity. The Street Profits filled in for them a couple months ago. I think Trey Miguel had some minor surgery. That's why they couldn't compete. And so they should still have that #1 contenders opportunity. Would love to see them win. I know that's a stretch, but Wickens' Borberg just needs to ride off into the sunset. I agree, Wicken. That would be very, very nice to see. You know, get him the heck out of there. Let's see. Good to see you on YouTube, brother. Thank you. What's up there, Rick? How we doing, my friend? How we doing? Again, guys, if you haven't already, be sure to hit that subscribe button and please hit that like button as well. Thanks for keeping your attention on this live and coming in with questions, comments, concerns. It's fun, man. This is only my second live on YouTube. You know, we just surpassed 100 the other day on TikTok, which was cool. My 100th live or so, and now we're starting a new chapter, a new journey on live here for YouTube going forward into the new year. So good to have you guys. Let's see here. How's TNA going? I haven't been keeping an eye on it. It's been going all right. You know, TNA, I was watching it the other night. What was that? Last night for the first time in a few weeks, especially leading into the pay-per-view. I liked what I saw. Luther vs. Goldberg Elimination Chamber. Yeah, maybe, Sean. Goldberg needs to stay gone to the old folks home. Yeah, Rachel, I have no desire to see him again. Mania, I hope not, Calvin. Let's hope not, man. Listen, again, for a variety of reasons, I don't want Goldberg and Gunther at Mania. I was happy to see the partnership. It will be great. Yeah, well, I mean, we saw the little bits and pieces we saw in 2024, Tammy, starting really with Jordan Grace coming into the Royal Rumble, and so it was really nice. Great opportunities. And, like, we agree on a lot of things. I may love my baby faces and you love your heels, Tammy, but, like, a lot of things we agree on. I would love to see Tasha Steelz on NXT in the Rumble. Even maybe Masha Slamovich in the Rumble could be fun, too. Especially if her and Cora Jade are both in the Rumble, right? That'd be fun. Yes, guys, as Miss J said, if you're subscribed, make sure your settings and notifications are set for the lives and any posted content, short form, long form content. I appreciate you guys interacting in any which way and spending time here. No, Goldberg, I especially don't like him since he took the belt off Bray. Yeah, that's exactly, Tammy. That one hit harder than, especially because that was his new reinvigorated Fiend character, right? So that hit much harder than when he beat Kevin Owens at Fastlane in 2017 for the red Universal title. And then he took the blue Universal title off of the Fiend, or the Fiend title that he had made on his own was cool. Let's see. Might actually see Moose versus Oba. Yeah, we might get that match, Tammy. We actually might get that match. You know, Tammy, it's kind of funny, right? So Oba was kind of the North American champion when Moose was the heavyweight champion. Now Moose is the X Division champion, but Oba is the NXT champion. Can't they have the same equal standing title at the same time? I guess not. But I thought that was kind of funny. I was thinking of that the other day. But yeah, nonetheless, hopefully we get that match coming up soon. And we're going to move forward here, guys. All right, we're going to talk a little bit of Rey Mysterio, Mr. 619 versus Kevin Owens. Now, I loved Rey Mysterio coming out in his hometown of San Diego, California, in his San Diego Padres-inspired gear. I thought that was cool. Spending a little extra time with his hometown crowd. Again, his daughter Aaliyah was in attendance. They showed her on camera. Also, they showed Victoria, WWE legend Victoria, who many want to see go into the Hall of Fame, rightfully so. Not sure. How many title reigns did Victoria have, guys? Drop that in the chat. How many times was she with champion while in WWE? I know she had a couple championships as well in TNA, right? So KO, just when we thought he only had one great t-shirt earlier in the night, as I stated earlier, KO's initial shirt coming out was the Canadian Dream, son of a security system technician. This time KO comes out showing up in a Rey Mysterio Hall of Fame t-shirt, black and gold t-shirt with Rey's mask on the center, preparing for this match. Unbelievable. Fun match. KO nearly won with a frog splash. Wouldn't that have been bad? Little Eddie Guerrero shout, especially because he came out just as Rey was mentioning Eddie Guerrero at the top of the show. So what would that have looked like? But not on Rey's watch. Rey ain't having it. KO also nearly won with a stunner. Somehow, Rey was able to muster up a 619. KO, though, stumbled into the referee, knocking him into the ropes, which then led to Ray being knocked off the ring post and then onto the top turnbuckle. That looked painful. This led to a pop-up powerbomb for the 1-2-3. Post-match, KO shakes Ray's hand, then kicks Ray in preparation for a package pile driver. Then insert Cody Rhodes. He didn't stay for the pyro because he didn't have time for that, so he made his way down to the ring. And they were fighting both in and out of the ring, which, obviously leading to their Royal Rumble match, which we're going to get some stipulations and a specific time and place, which we're going to get to, where we're going to see these two sign the contract and all that stuff. So let's see here. Wiccan, I want to see Josh Alexander. Yes, I agree, Wiccan. I look forward to that. I bet, Rachel. Thank you. And thank you for answering the daily question over on Instagram today. KO and Ray put on an amazing match that they did. Let's give an Owens destroy Cody Rhodes. Oh, you want KO over Cody, Calvin? All right. Thought Tammy was the only heel in here. She was a 2-time champ, Victoria. Thank you for looking that up, Tammy. And Wiccan, I appreciate that. Let's see, Victoria to face Tiffany. That'd be fun. I like how Nick has relinquished their belts. Yes, so let's get to that right now. Rachel showing that OTC love in the chat. Appreciate the likes, guys. Thank you for the likes, the subscriptions, subscribing, and all that. I'm so used to saying double taps and follows on TikTok that I got to get used to saying thanks for hitting the like button and subscribing. But either way, we're going to get used to this, right? This is the new home, so we got to get used to it. As awkward as everything may feel to get used to, but it's good that I have a good nucleus, my crew in here, for the most part tonight. So KO has the potential to win a championship he needs. Yeah, you're right, Calvin. You're right. So look, Nick Aldis, SmackDown GM, says to Cody Rhodes, he says, look, next Saturday, San Antonio, Texas, Saturday night's main event, both Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens will relinquish their respective titles. All right, so Cody will be handing in his Undisputed Championship. KO will be handing in his Winged Eagle that he thinks he is a champion, but he's just been walking around with it for the past month and 3 days. I mean, it's a nice piece of hardware. I got a similar one back here. That's like me walking around the streets in New Jersey with it. I'm not the champ, but I could say I am. Maybe I'll wear it to ShopRite tomorrow, but I don't think anybody's going to acknowledge me. But anyway, so the way this goes is for their ladder match at the Rumble, they will have a contract signing next Saturday, at Saturday night's main event, the 25th, San Antonio, Texas. And who better to moderate this but the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels. Again, San Antonio's very own. This is going to be good. So, yeah, I see. Is that water? Yeah, I should take a water break. Is that what we're saying here? I should take a sip of water? Sends 50 cord. Miss J, that's great. Thank you for making it still feel like TikTok. Let's see here. What did I miss? Yeah, I did say new home, Cal. You're right. I love KO. He does so much fun character work. He does, Tammy. He really does. Probably not, Sean, but I'm sure that's going to be a good show. I didn't even look at that GCW card. Who's main eventing? No, it's a ladder match, Calvin. So they're going to be obviously putting the titles, suspending them from above, and whoever gets the titles in a typical ladder match setting will then win. Yeah, like Shawn and Razor. Correct, Wiccan. Thank you. I was going to use that IC title reference, right. Appreciate that, Calvin. Thank you for acknowledging me. Appreciate that. So that's going to be fun. The Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels, who better to be the one to be, again, moderating this in his hometown of San Antonio, Texas. Then you talk about ladder matches and all that good stuff. It was like a callback, I think, 3 or 4 years ago. Santos Escobar. If you remember, this was around 2021 when they lifted all the travel restrictions to outside the U.S. and stuff like that. Jordan Devlin, a.k.a. J.D. McDonough, he was the Cruiserweight champion, I believe. He was the Cruiserweight champion once COVID hit. He then was no longer allowed to travel or whatnot. He was stuck over there in Ireland, I believe. Then they had to come out with a new champion. So El Phantasmo won it, a.k.a. Santos Escobar. Then when Jordan Devlin came back to the States, or Orlando, there was a ladder match. And Shawn Michaels came out to help symbolize this whole bit. A ladder match for the 2 titles, just like him and Razor. When Shawn came back, Razor was champion just like El Phantasmo, Santos Escobar. And so Michaels came back with the IC title, much like Jordan Devlin. And they had to figure it out via a ladder match. And I love that. I think that's a great way to do things. So, again, insert Shawn Michaels. It only makes sense, right? He's been in many a great ladder match. I think him and Bret Hart were in the first ladder match. I want to say IC title ladder match 92. I forget what event, but I'm pretty sure you can double check that. Um, yeah, Rachel, I could use some popcorn right about now. Let's see. Yeah, I know, Tammy. Rumble's in 2 weeks. Nuts. I'll acknowledge you, but number one is Roman. All right, Rachel. You know what? As long as I'm in your top three, I'll take it. I'll take that. You know, no hard feelings. No hard feelings. So after that was stated, we then find out we got Braun Strowman versus Jacob Fatu at um, at Saturday Night's main event, right? We found out the other two matches on Monday. We got Braun Strowman, Jacob Fatu. Sheamus trying to win that Intercontinental Championship yet again for the umpteenth time against Braun Breaker. And then we got the World Heavyweight Championship, Gunther going up against main event Jey Uso. So, you know, it's funny that Sheamus was training Lyra Valkyria on Monday ahead of her inaugural Intercontinental Championship match, so in the Celtic Warrior workout. So he's able to train people to win the IC title, but he can't win it. What do you know? What do you know? So anyway, we'll see what happens. Again, yet to have a women's match scheduled for this card. I'm assuming that being that they had the inaugural U.S. women's match there, right, with Chelsea and Mishin, maybe they'll put the IC title on here. But then again, the IC title is already on for the men. I'm curious what women's match they put on this card. I'm very curious. Again, I would think maybe even the women's tag, but they already scheduled them for the 28th, a few days after that on NXT against Jakara Jackson, Lash Legends, so that's not the case. So, hey, we'll find out soon. Austin, Texas, next Friday, right, for SmackDown, Tama Tonga versus LA Knight. And we got the Motor City Machine Guns versus Pretty Deadly in what I believe is the #1 contenders match for those WWE Tag Team Championships that DIY hold. And so now, guys, that pretty much takes us almost to the main event. We had a backstage segment we'll get to in a minute here. Let's see here. Can't remember. Was Cena versus Punk, title versus title ladder match? I don't think it was. Was it Wiccan? I don't think it was. Do I see Lindsay Dorado? Was he there at NXT Live event, Tammy? I haven't been on my socials since before SmackDown. Cool. Yes, in the words of Marco, I believe in Turnbuckle. Thanks for keeping that alive, Miss J. I understand why KO gets but then in a way he's right about everything. Yeah, he's not wrong. You believe in topics. Thank you, Calvin. 3 women's matches tonight. Yeah, no, I love it. Hey, it only makes sense. You know, you get 3 hours. We should get at least 3 women's matches. You going to watch AEW Collision tomorrow night? I'll probably pop on Collision, and then afterwards, I'm not reviewing Collision at all, but afterwards I will immediately go on to my TikTok account and do a TikTok live, at least one last time, right? So tomorrow night, guys, again, 10 p.m., I will be on TikTok live. And I'll be back here Monday night. I'll be back here Monday night, following Monday Night Raw for another review, much like tonight. So let's jump into the last 25 minutes of the show, okay? We're backstage. Tommaso Ciampa tells Pretty Deadly to become men and handle Motor City next week if they want a shot basically at those tag titles. You know, he's like, you help us, we'll help you type of deal. Gargano then attacked Apollo because Apollo was going up to Pretty Deadly yet again, as he did in the past, basically saying, you know, what are you doing? You know, helping these fools or listening to them. And Gargano viciously attacked Apollo after Apollo tried to talk to them and whatnot. I'm not making much of it. It really didn't matter, other than the fact it was nice to see Apollo on TV. At least Apollo's on TV, and he got a couple wins over this guy. You might have heard of him. He used to be in Imperium. Giovanni Vinci, a.k.a. Fabian Eichner, once upon a time. He lost, 3 months ago, back-to-back to Apollo, won in record time. We haven't seen him since, so Giovanni Vinci still going into 2025 on the side of that milk carton. I don't know. I would like to even see him in the back as an extra at this point, honestly. I don't know what the hell's going on there, but so I digress. We are going to head to the WWE Women's Championship matchup where Bayley would go on to face Tiffany Stratton in what would be Tiffany Stratton's first ever title defense. So we're going to get to that in a minute, guys. Again, thanks for all the love in the past hour. Appreciate you. Thanks for subscribing. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button. Please hit the like button as well for this live. And again, feel free to share this page, not only this live, but feel free to share this page with, you know, friends, family, wrestling fans alike. And again, guys, you can tell them I'll be here going live. I'll be uploading content daily on YouTube, but I'll be going live here Mondays and Fridays just after 11, immediately following Raw and SmackDown as well. So let's see here. When are we going to see Zilla come? We'll see, Calvin. I don't know. I think it's TNA GOAT. Who never got the TNA strap? Yep. I really thought KO was going to actually shake Rey Mysterio's hand. Nah, can't trust KO there. Miss Apollo with Baron. Me too, Tammy. They had something there. They had something there. Might not have been the Baron Corbin Braun Breaker dynamic that we saw in NXT last year as tag champs, but they definitely had something there. I say come Monday, will you be staying on here for reviews? Great. That is a great question, Rachel. To be honest with you, yes. So what I am likely going to do, if TikTok by some saving grace is saved, right? I know some of you may not care to hear it, but Mondays and Fridays, I am definitely staying on YouTube. Now, what I might do is, I'm not sure if I'm going to still cover Dynamite on Wednesdays, at least for the foreseeable future. I just might not. Still going to watch it, may podcast about it, but I probably won't do live reviews on Dynamite. What I may do, it's not concrete, if TikTok is by some miracle saved, I will still do Mondays and Fridays on here after Raw and SmackDown, but what I may do is do a Tuesday night review on TikTok for NXT specifically. So the only review I would do during the week would probably be for NXT on TikTok, if that remains. But we'll see. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. But that's what I've been thinking in the back of my mind. Giovanni put a tweet out saying he's coming back with what, Tammy? All right, we're going to jump into this main event. All right. We got the WWE Women's Championship, Bayley going after Tiffany Stratton. But first, guys, before we would get to this main event match, we would get a very significant, and I can't emphasize this enough, a very significant video package. Not just because of who it was. I mean, yes, in part, perhaps. Charlotte Flair, the Queen. She's been out with a knee injury since December of 2023. Believe she got injured at a live show. A lot of us are led to believe she's been readily available since August or September, you know, right around that time or just after SummerSlam, because a lot of us were saying right around the time Roman Reigns returned in August, we said maybe we'll see Charlotte Flair soon. Months passed by, and you know, it didn't make sense to insert Charlotte Flair just yet, because why have her around? Even if she's been cleared 3 or 4 months, why have Charlotte Flair around if you don't really have anything of significance for her, especially after being out 8 months at that time? Now it's over a year, right? And especially if they're going to have her inserted in a very significant storyline. And we know, like Charlotte or not, it's just the way it goes with Charlotte, 14-time champion, as they mentioned in this video package. She's in all likelihood going to walk in with her invisible Money in the Bank briefcase and cash it in. Now, she might actually legitimately get, you know, have a reason to be the #1 contender. So we saw this video package for the 14-time WWE Women's Champion referencing Charlotte Flair's inevitable return. We're 2 weeks away from the Rumble. Why would she return before that? So we're all assuming, you know, not if, but when Charlotte's going to return. And at what number? What number do you think Charlotte's going to return in the Rumble? Drop it in the comments. I'm led to believe, until I hear or see otherwise. You know, I mentioned it the last couple of weeks. Who do I, you know, when people would ask, who do I think is going to win this year's Royal Rumble? It's either Io Sky or Charlotte Flair. Personally, I want to see Io Sky. Although I do think that Charlotte Flair is likely to win. And this, I don't want to say it fully made it concrete and confirmed it for me, but this led me to believe that Charlotte Flair has a very good chance over most. Especially the fact that they plugged this video package very timely before Tiffany Stratton's first title defense tonight. All right, so Charlotte Flair will be back soon. I think she's going to win the Rumble, if not Elimination Chamber. What's ironic, a lot of us say the same thing about John Cena. If he doesn't win the Rumble, which a lot of people think he will, then he'll probably win Elimination Chamber in Toronto. So isn't that funny? Flair, Cena, WrestleMania, both perhaps winning gold. If Cena wins, he'll become 17-time, beating Flair's record of 16, which he's been tied at for years. Flair on the other side, Charlotte going from 14 to 15 title reigns. So all very interesting dynamics that crossed my mind during this. So we'll see. But we're going to pick up with the end of the main event in just a minute as I get to a couple. It breaks my heart what's happening to TikTok for real. I hear you, Nas. It is rough, man. Hang in there. We all will, man. From whether content creators out there, just supporters, you know, we're all going to get through this major shift. I know how much people love TikTok. I mean, I loved it, you know, really, just also as well as just looking at content as well. I feel like their algorithm's second to none as far as content you actually like and absorb. But, you know, we'll make it happen here. Yes, Tammy, I agree with that. Miss J, thank you for the goats. Or maybe you're just saying you're the goat, because Miss J, you are the goat. Absolutely. Loving the emojis, guys, in the chat. Got to get used to this from TikTok. Calvin says, if I had to write Gunther's title reign, I would say it's 8 out of 10. Okay. She might show up at Saturday Night's main event, if not wrong. Well, yeah, Tammy, at this point, I don't see it making any sense to have Charlotte show up. I know they have to put something of women's match or appearance on that show, which nothing has happened yet, but just save her for the Rumble at this point. But I did like that they gave us this tonight. Speaking of Money in the Bank, who would you like to see win it? I don't know yet, Tammy. I think once we see who wins Elimination Chamber, I could give you a definitive answer. But once we get past the Rumble and Chamber, then I could see who's left, right? Who didn't win those two. SmackDown, yeah, that's fair, Rachel. That's fair. Let's see. 15 for 15, time world champion. Who do I got in the Women's Rumble? Again, Calvin, I'd love to see EO, but I'm leaning towards Charlotte Flair right now. I just don't want Charlotte taking it from Tiffany. It makes it look like she's trying to... Yeah, well, that's my thing, Tammy. If Charlotte goes against, and I feel the same way about Cena, if he gets to WrestleMania, right? Winning the Rumble or Chamber, whatever. If Charlotte gets to Mania, much like Cena, I feel like they have to win it because, Cena, this being his last hurrah, when else will he get a chance to get to 17? Charlotte, coming back after being out a year, she hasn't had a lot of title reigns in the last couple of years, mainly due to injury more than anything. And so I feel like 15 is just inevitable for her if she makes it to Mania in a title match, especially, again, missing out at a milestone Mania at 40 last year. Whatever she was scheduled to do, whether it was against Bianca non-title or something else, who knows. But, yeah, I'm curious, man. I don't want Tiffany to drop either. It's not so much I don't want Charlotte to get to 15 or have another Mania moment or whatever. It's that I don't think Tiffany will be considered transitional, all right, because I think... It's questionable, right? It's questionable. All of January, February, March, and being that Mania is later in April this year, most of April. So she'll almost have 4 months under her belt, literally, but not quite. I think anything that exceeds 2.5, 3 months is more than transitional, but still, it's not the title reign that I would foresee for Tiffany Stratton. If you were to say maybe she loses it in June or something like that, before SummerSlam or at SummerSlam, sure, but Mania seems kind of premature. And I think that's, again, if it is Tiffany and Charlotte, which I think it is going to be, I think if we get that match, Charlotte is going to win. So we'll see. And a lot of that is because even though the last time she won the Rumble in 2020, as I said 5 years ago, that was during COVID, and she beat Rhea for the NXT title, but it wasn't on a big stage. It was a Drew McIntyre situation, right? Winning in a empty arena. So I think if she's gonna win this Rumble, they're gonna give her a big moment in the spotlight yet again in front of a major crowd, reminding people who she is, what she's accomplished. Not that any of us have pretty much forgot, whether we like to admit that or not, but I think that's where we're headed. So Alexa's Performance Center, maybe should be Rumble. Yeah, I think Alexa's a sure shot as well, Tammy. If you follow her socials the last couple of weeks, she's been teasing a lot of stuff. Whether it's her hair color, showing pictures of her abs, saying she's back to basically her ring shape. So Alexa is definitely back. Becky, Charlotte, Alexa, absolutely. Would love to see Asuka and a few others, but I think those three are a shoo-in for sure. Who do you think's have a longer title, Gunther or Braun Breaker? I'm going to say Gunther, Cal. You think Braun? Okay, does Charlotte actually need the title right away? I'd put her in a feud until next year. Wiccan, do I think she needs the title? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Absolutely not, because she's Charlotte Flair. But that's not to say they won't give it to her, because how many times has Charlotte been back for a cup of coffee? Not even. And won the title already, right? Last second thing, I know this was the first, maybe this is a poor example, but the first women's main event, WrestleMania 35. We had Becky Lynch versus Ronda Rousey. Becky going after Ronda's Raw Championship, right? And they insert Charlotte into the match. Okay, that's cool. And then they felt the need last minute to strip Asuka of her SmackDown title because Charlotte won it like weeks before. So then, again, another reign for Charlotte. And even though that was brief, from those couple weeks, she went up from Asuka to dropping it at Mania 35 here in Jersey. Just so we got Becky 2 belts. Don't get me wrong, I think that's cool. But it's the way that it happened. Again, just to get Charlotte those quick reigns so she could be 16 time as well, like her father, or to exceed it. So, I don't know, man. Does she need the title, Wiccan? No. Will they do it as early as Mania? Absolutely. That's just how they do things. Does not mean I agree with it at all. Drew McIntyre winning or Seth Rollins winning the WrestleMania rematch? I don't know, man. What, you're saying you see Drew and Seth having a rematch at Mania? I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't want to say Seth's going to go into some kind of a slump. I would prefer to see Drew win it, but we'll see. I just want Punk to win the Rumble Chamber so he can finally get his main event. I'm right there with you, Tammy. I think I'm, you know, I think Punk and Cena come out winners either or, right? Cena wins Rumble, Punk wins Chamber, vice versa. That's what I would like to see. I would like to see that. We also have Becky returning at Rumble. They're saying, yeah, I would assume so, Tammy. Like I said, Becky, Charlotte, Alexa. I think those three are a shoo-in for long-awaited returns. Well, especially for Alexa and Charlotte as well. Tammy says, want a Rhea versus Becky match? We never got. Yeah, due time. I think maybe we get that later in the year. Maybe SummerSlam. Did you see Ronda had another? Yes, I saw last Thursday. Yeah. It was a girl? I thought she had a boy. She had a girl? Very nice. Congrats. Well, the time is here for you right now. It is 12:15 right now for me, Cal. And so we're going to wrap up this match, all right? So Charlotte Flair, that was the video package, so be it. Again, we jumped to late in this match. Roxanne Perez is ringside. Her and Bayley picking up from Tuesday on NXT where they had a back and forth in the ring. I love the pictures they posted on the internet the other day when Roxanne had met Bayley. It was either when Roxanne was just a young fan or she may have been starting wrestling school, either or. And now living out her dreams on WWE TV, feuding against, you know, your idols. Now going up against your heroes, your idols, call it what you want. It's going to be fun. Seeing those two go back and forth, right? So we'll see what happens. She didn't actually, you know, interfere or, you know, have any presence as far as the outcome of this match was concerned. Overall, this was a solid match. The way this ended, even though it looked Bayley was going to win a variety of times, we all knew that Tiffany was not going to lose on her first title defense. I mean, me and Tammy and many others in here, we're talking about it's too early for Tiffany to lose WrestleMania 41 in Vegas, right? April 19th, April 20th. What would she look like losing on January 17th, 2 weeks in? It wouldn't be a good look. So we got a cartwheel into an Alabama slam leading to the prettiest moonsault ever. Successful first title defense. It's Tiffy time. Tiffany Stratton defeats Bayley, and that was that. So, hey, there you have it. They were in San Jose Monday, San Diego tonight. They're in San Antonio next weekend. I don't know what's up with all the Sands, but we got a good week of WWE TV, and I'm looking forward to everything we got. Again, we're just 2 weeks away from Royal Rumble, so I'm excited, guys. Let's see here. Going to get to a couple comments, questions, and I'm going to wrap it up here. Let's see. I want Kyrie to get a solo push. Can't wait for Asuka to return. Yeah, I'm with you on both, Wiccan. I'm excited for Asuka, and yeah, I think Kyrie should get some momentum. She has nothing going for her as far as singles is concerned. If you know, tag team once in a while, whether it's with Dakota, with the EO, obviously with Asuka last year, they were tag champs, right? Kabuki Warriors, but yeah, zero momentum as a singles star since her return. Paul Heyman's going to help CM Punk. Okay, Cal, that could be very interesting. We're going to hop off. I have to be up early. Great to see you, Tammy. Yes, see you tomorrow on TikTok for sure. Thank you, Tammy Tonga, as Rachel said. And, all right, guys, so I'm going to wrap up here, okay? I may hop on TikTok tonight for a few minutes. A few minutes could be a half hour. We'll see. But, guys, last but not least, if you are still in here and you have not subscribed to the channel already, please subscribe to this channel. It means a lot. Please hit the like button on this live. And again, please share this this channel to all your friends, family, whomever, any wrestling fans, coworkers, you name it. This will be the hot spot for Turnbuckle Topics going forward. You could also follow me on Instagram, X, and Facebook at Turnbuckle Topics. Same handle for everything, guys. And again, I hope to see you tomorrow night, 10 p.m. on TikTok. Going to have potentially one last hurrah on live. So again, tonight doesn't count, all right, if I hop on. But tomorrow will be an official last hurrah. So thanks for all your support, guys, on all the platforms. And I hope to see you soon. Miss J, you take care, and I will see you guys tomorrow night on TikTok, 10 p.m. Eastern Time. And if you're not there, I'll see you Monday night for the Monday Night Raw review at 11:15, same place. Take care, guys.